Namaste, guys. ChristianRLong, life enhancement consultant, giving you a big and beautiful shout out on this Tuesday morning here in Denver, Colorado. It's 8 o'clock a.m. Mountain Time. We're jumping on for our daily dose of divine light, love, and power with our focus on the love aspect for this morning. And so I pulled out a little gem of mine that I've had for a few years. Karen, Namaste. A few years, a very good friend of mine, Andrew, Namaste, bought this book for me in Boulder, Colorado. And I've had certain homework assignments connected to this book over the years. And I want to read 2 pages from it. It's super teeny tiny book. It's written by the Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, Amanda, Namaste. And it's interesting that as one develops on the spiritual path, one's ability to process information changes. So you could have read something 10 years ago, and as you become a different person, as your chakras expand, as your aura expands, as your spiritual connection to your higher self expands, what you read and what you consume, you extrapolate different things from it. Jessica, Namaste. And so my understanding of this book now is much, much different than it was 3 years ago. So I want to read to you from page 69 of How to Love by Thich Nhat Hanh. And it's one of my favorite, actually 2 chapters or 2 pages of the book connected to the love aspect of the soul. Finding home. Every one of us is trying to find our true home. Some of us are still searching. Our true home is inside, but it's also in our loved ones around us. When you're in a loving relationship, you and the other person can be a true home for each other. In Vietnamese, the nickname for a person's life partner is my home. So for example, if a person is asked, where is your wife? He might say, my home is now at the post office. If a guest said to the woman, this meal was delicious, who cooked it? She might answer, my home prepared the meal, meaning my husband cooked the dinner. Adriana, Namaste. How beautiful of that is that language, that your life partner, the translation for life partner is my home, right? Going to the next page connected to this, opening the door, and there's a cute little picture. He does all the drawings. Mahesh, Namaste. He does all the drawings in his books. So this is a series of books, how to do many different things. This particular book deals with how to love. Opening the door. Once you know how to come home to yourself, then, keyword being then, you can open your door to other people because you have something to offer. The other person has to do exactly the same thing if they are to have something to offer you. Otherwise, they will have nothing to share but their loneliness, sickness, and suffering. This can't help heal you at all. The other person has to heal themselves and get warm inside so they will feel better, at ease, and can share their home with you. He covers different aspects of this teachings throughout this book. But in essence, he's saying you can't understand another person until you understand yourself. You can't love another person until you love yourself. You can't provide a home for another person, Tina, Namaste, until you can provide a home for yourself. So it's a really, really beautiful illustration because so many of us are running around, whether we're in our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, even 50s and beyond. Chris, Namaste, I literally was just thinking of you. That's so funny. Jessica says, I couldn't resist a childish giggle at the page number. Sorry, kind of not sorry. 69. Well, that'll be our tantric talk later. But it's really interesting that so many of us are running towards another person to gain something from them versus radiating and giving to another person because that's our natural state. So if you feel depleted, mentally depleted, emotionally depleted, physically depleted, everything that you do is about acquiring energy. Namaste, Rosalind, right? But if you're full, if you're mentally vibrant and sharp, if you're emotionally fulfilled, you have love, you have sweetness, you have tenderness. If you're physically filled, you're rested, you're well hydrated, you got good supplements, good nutrition in your body, you're going to be radiating beautiful things to give people, to give your partner, to give your friends, to give your clients, your patients, your whomever you're interacting with, right? So it's so fascinating. Marcella, namaste. It's so fascinating that we spend our lives seeking energy from others versus how can I generate energy within myself to heal myself, then I have something to radiate and something to offer the world, right? It's quite interesting. So I really, really like the metaphor of finding home and opening the door. So finding the home of your partner, as it's correlated into the Vietnamese culture, is your life partner is translated as my home, right? Because it's interesting, when we are going through difficult times in our lives, we're looking for a place to settle in, right? We're looking for a place to settle in, to be spiritually fed, to be mentally soothed, to be emotionally soothed, to be physically soothed, right? Typically, most people get that through their spiritual teachers or their spiritual practice. What's up, Coffee and a Cookie? Sounds like an amazing book. It's a phenomenal book. Again, the book is called How to Love by Thich Nhat Hanh. How to Love. An excellent book. Super teeny tiny little itty bitty baby book. But again, these tiny books that we're always introducing you guys to, like Grandmaster Cho's tiny books, Pat Atma Namaste, have priceless teachings in them that, if understood deeply and practiced regularly, will transform your entire life and transform your relationships with other people. So Chris says, coffee and a cookie, give me some. Yes, son, bring it. So that's what I want to cover before we do our Twin Hearts meditation at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Excellent book. As you guys saw, Adriana said it's a great book because she purchased it a while back and read it, and you have to practice it. There is no point in reading a spiritual book like this if you're just going to go, nice book, you put it on the bookshelf and you think nothing of it. Christina, namaste. It's about getting a book like this and then studying this book, really understanding what the pages mean, and then practicing it in your day-to-day life. So you can build a home within yourself, and then you radiate love, you radiate warmth, you radiate sweetness to other people. Does it make sense? And to be honest with you, 7 years ago, reading this book, I would have gotten very, very little out of it because I wasn't there. I didn't have the patience and I didn't have the skill set of how to dissect a book like this. So I'm grateful that over the years of getting healing, getting understanding, doing my spiritual practices, and progressing on my path, I'm able to open up a book like that, and I'm able to go very, very deep into it, mentally as well as energetically. So Amanda says, there are many books about love from great teachers. Are there different insights this book gives that others don't? What I thoroughly enjoy about this book is the energy in it. There's such a subtle refinement of love and higher frequencies of sweetness that I have not experienced in other books that I've read about love. Great, great book by a great, great teacher. You study his life. He's a super amazing teacher. And funny enough, a guy I met who's a Buddhist in Denver, and he holds Buddhist retreats once or twice a year, we somehow connected on Facebook, and he said, hey, would you like to collaborate on something? I said, absolutely, but we didn't know what we were going to collaborate on. And then we came up with the idea of, let's have a movie night. And we're like, well, what movie are we going to do? And this teacher had finished doing a movie on walking. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Look up his name, Thich Nhat Hanh, and type in walking. And it's called Walk With Me. So it's like a story about his ashram in Paris. And so him and I actually just organized a group, and we sold tickets, and we rented out a movie theater in Denver. And they said, if you can sell something like 30 tickets, you can have the event. And we sold over 100 tickets, and we completely sold out. And we had a guy come to the event who's a friend of his, and he did drumming for the first 15 to 20 minutes of the event while everyone was gathering into the movie theater, and then we played the movie, and it was beautiful. It's not what you would think. You're like, oh, this is going to be really detailed, experiences about his meditation life and his spiritual life and his life growing up in Vietnam and all the ins and outs of who he was as a person. And in fact, it's an hour-long documentary on Plum Village, showing about the people that go there, the monks and nuns that live there, what they do throughout the day, and then the visitors that come from around the world to spend time at the retreat house. That's it. It was a very, very, very simple documentary. His energy is also very refined. Correct. Chris says, let's show that again post-quarantine, yo. Just saying. I said just saying earlier today. So that would be one of my feedbacks of his energy different is, it's not this blasting love of like, whoa, I feel so much love, but it requires the reader to like really tap into the subtle frequencies of the heart and the subtle frequencies of sweetness that I don't experience reading other spiritual teachers. Which I like that because how many of you have a refined palate? You have a refined palate. You would consider yourself a foodie. I'm not a foodie by any stretch of the imagination. If it has a little bit of fat and a little bit of sugar, I'm content. I don't need much, right? And so people that have refined palates can extrapolate flavors and reach a level of enjoyment that people that don't have a refined palate can do. So as I've refined myself over the past several years, I can read a book like this and extrapolate a sweetness that I wasn't able to before, which actually kind of makes sense to why certain people, mostly women, are into poetry, because they're able to extrapolate certain sweetnesses and certain energies that the ordinary person has a hard time doing, right? Because their skill set is in something different, right? Which is funny. Many of you don't believe this, but when I was a teenager and younger, I used to write poetry. So for those of you who don't consider me to be a romantic at heart, you're wrong. I just turned that part of my personality off. I'm bringing it back a little bit. Bringing it back. So anyways, join us for the Twin Hearts meditation in the next 20 minutes. It's going to be on Zoom. I'll have the link above this video on Facebook. And then, join us for a 20-minute meditation to bless and heal Mother Earth and all sentient beings, to alleviate the suffering, and also to heal the coronavirus so we can all get on with our lives and operate at the new normal. So I love you guys very much. For those of you who need healing, feel free to reach out to me directly at my website, ChristianRLong.com. Boop! ChristianRLong.com. Schedule a consultation or a distant energy healing session with me, and we'll take you to the next level and refine your energy body. So, love you guys very much. Christian Long, Life Enhancement Consultant, wishing you a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. Amanda just said, are there other books if you have different perspective on? On love specifically? I'll get back to you. Good question. I'll get back to you. I'll give you some recommendations. Rumi would be one. Atma, namaste. Bye-bye.